TikTok users are outraged, and white folks are starting to speak out against the racism in America. They are speaking against their own people. Check it out, y'all.
Nolan Wells wasn't killed by his friends, and this investigation just started. I mean, his body was found just yesterday. Give the investigation some time before we start hearing these crazy ass stories. And the amount of people that are saying that he was killed because he was a token black guy in his friend group is fucking insane.
Yeah, we're not doing that shit. What you make it out to be is like some innocent, well, it's not the friends, don't get after the friends. No, what you're doing is you're victim blaming. You're putting this at the feet of Nolan Wells. Like he is somehow at fault for what happened to him. The fact that he is dead is on Nolan Wells and nobody else because it can't be his friends. Where's the human sympathy in this? Where's the address of Nolan Wells, the person, and saying, I'm sorry for the loss, for the family's loss, who lost a son, for Nolan Wells, who lost his future. You're going to come on here and immediately take up the side of something you know nothing about? You say we know nothing about it. You know nothing about it either. So don't come on here and put this at the feet of Nolan Wells. The young man is dead. Somebody is responsible. And people need to figure it the fuck out.
There you go. Because we not going to sit up here and act like he wasn't surrounded by a bunch of Caucasians on that island. We not going to sit up here and act like it was a mixture of races on that island. So anybody who come out and just try to exclude the fact that history is repeating itself, listen, we not even paying attention to them people right there.
Why are we automatically assuming that Nolan's friends are the ones that took part in his death? Why don't we point the finger when it's a young white man? And why do we automatically point the finger when it's not a young white man? You know why we're doing that? People that look like me, it's because that's what we do. When it is someone's black son, husband, brother, we often say, well, what did he do? But if it's a white boy like Austin Metcalf, we immediately know what happened. You know, the UFC fighting event at the White House is literally so much symbolism as to where we're at as a country. And here we are 250 years later, and we have white supremacist groups marching on the steps of the Capitol. And the most corrupt president in history posting racist tropes. And we're watching racist slurs across social media. And we're assuming the worst about that black lady on the train. And during that Newport Beach takeover, man, all those black and brown people. Yet when we see videos of young white men fighting and shooting off fireworks and all the other things, and the white Karens all over the internet showing their racism, well, then we tend to not define our entire race, right? Some of the ugliest comments I see across the internet are from white people, especially white men. Sorry, not sorry. And frankly, that should concern all of us. I'm not perfect. I am unlearning all the things that I learned growing up in a small rural town of all white people. I grew up in a time when there were no streaming documentaries. There was no history to read, no real history, and the internet wasn't even around. And now we have all of those things right at our fingertips 24 hours a day. And the most we can learn, the best source, is our black and brown friends. For me, they're the biggest source of information. I have learned so much from them, and they have been so gracious to give me the space to learn, to screw up, to figure it out, because they know I'm trying. As white people, when we continue to ignore racism, whether it's our parents, our brothers, sisters, whoever it is, we're basically, our silence says, you know, okay, it's okay, dude. Like, I know what you mean. And it's not okay.
They want us to hold on to the image that's being pushed on to us about white people. They don't want us to dive into the history and see how evil a lot of them are. And that UFC fighting event in front of the White House, just give it a couple more years. They're going to start putting humans against animals. And in them white supremacist groups in front of the White House, how many people you think work in law enforcement?
Hi, this is for white people. in regards to the Nolan Wells situation, story, death, murder, probably, who knows. Hey, white people, you don't need to say it's not all white people. You don't need to say, oh, but me and my and Mo, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We all know that it's not all white people. We also know that it's always white people. So.
You actually showing how evil you are just by trying to deflect and trying to reroute what everybody's already thinking.
This woke white woman tells the truth about this Nolan Wells situation.
If the situations were reversed, if the circumstances were reversed, and it was 3 black boys who took a white boy out and the 3 black boys came back and the white boy did not, it wouldn't matter that they didn't know what happened. Those 3 black boys would have been in handcuffs. Those 3 black boys would still be in questioning to this day. I can see the Fox News headline now, right? They would have used it as proof. See, we told you black people were dangerous. We told you black people were bad.
And that's big facts. The double standard is real in America. If 3 black boys went to an island with 1 white boy, and those 3 black boys came back from that island without that 1 white boy, and that 1 white boy was found dead, those 3 black boys would immediately be arrested, and those 3 black boys would immediately be looked at as guilty. Not only did those 3 white boys leave that black boy on the island, but they have now all deactivated their social media accounts and lawyered up. Their parents have also deactivated their social media accounts.
There's nothing more vile than going into a comment section of when a black person is killed and murdered by white people or is found dead surrounding white people. Like, these white people are so offended at the sheer thought that maybe it's not safe for people of color to be friends with and around white people. As a white person myself, I understand what is happening, and it's fucking horrifying. It's like, you want to be racist, you want to say the worst of the worst about people that don't look like you, but once somebody calls you a racist, that's the offense. Not the fact that these people of color are dying at the hands of white people. Nolan Wells was left on another island away from where he was supposed to be, and these people did not report him missing. They just said he was missing. He was on a boat with his friends, okay? And went missing, and they didn't report him, but yet they're innocent, but yet they're changing the photo. They're AI generating the photo that was shared previously of them drinking alcohol, and as if they weren't drinking alcohol. And one of the mothers is a fucking lawyer. Or a judge. She might be a judge. I don't know.
This video is for white people. When Gabby Petito went missing and her ex-boyfriend had no idea where she was and then eventually was nowhere to be found himself, everybody understood that that was suspicious, because anytime somebody goes missing after being with specific people and then they suddenly have no idea what happened and that person who is left behind ends up dead, that is wildly suspicious. In Gabby Petito's case, she was a young woman alone with a man. Dangerous. In Nolan Xavier Wells' case, he was a black teenager out with all white friends. Now, a lot of you, when you hear that, get immediately defensive, angry, and that is what you're reacting to. Regardless of what actually happened to Nolan Xavier Wells, there is racism at the heart of this story, no matter what, because those white boys left their friend, and instead of trying to get answers for his family, are lawyering up and becoming silent. That alone, without any knowledge of what actually happened to Nolan Xavier Wells, says a lot about the character of the people who left him behind. We know this, and we also know that since the very beginning of this country, it has been a dangerous place to be black. This is deeply embedded into the history of this country, and it is not new, and it has not gone away. There are realities that we live in. There are patterns that we recognize that we then apply to these situations. If you are a woman or somebody who listens to women, you knew what happened to Gabby Petito. If you are a black woman or somebody who listens to black women or somebody in a group of women friends, you know that what happened to Tamla Horsford doesn't make any fucking sense. And if you are a black person, you understand the danger that Nolan Xavier Wells was in just by being out with a group of only white friends in Mississippi. What happened to Nolan Xavier Wells and what Carmelo Anthony was afraid would happen to him are linked. It's all part of the fabric of white supremacy and anti-blackness in the United States of America. After repeated deaths of black children over and over in the news, at the hands of non-black people, at the hands of police. After all that, why is it so hard for you to just listen to what the people who've been in these positions are telling you. If black people are repeatedly telling you they are raised to believe they may not be safe in these circumstances for this exact reason, and you say that's not true, that's not fair, what is it about you that thinks that all of these people are in some sort of conspiracy around racism? It's all theory to you. And you do not have the fucking character, integrity, or intelligence to take in that information from a group of other people and trust it. Because God forbid you look at who you are and the pain and suffering that you might have caused. So you have to look at a situation that is so very clearly fucked up, so very clearly shady. You have to look at it and say, but what if you guys are victimized? There's one fucking victim. He's dead. Everybody else is alive. If you want to live in a world where white people are not suspected of being dangerous to black people, then stop being fucking dangerous to black people. Do the work now to create that world, because it's not the one we live in.
This just goes to show you the guilt that people live with, because they smart and intelligent when it come down to everything else. They are the official problem solvers. But when it come down to our people, they questions just off the wall. And everything that they're inquisitive about is deflection. So this lets you know who we dealing with, y'all. And the thing is that, hey, we just gotta stay away from these people, bro. Especially when we're somewhere by ourselves. But that's the end of the video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Make sure you hype this video. Make sure you subscribe. Big Kish signing out. I'm gone, y'all.